Sixth race is the 2003 Roses Are Red Stakes Prep Mares Open. They're off and pacing, and along the inside, it's Bunny Lake. Midnight Jewel is going to give way. In the center of the track, Worldly Beauty is sprinting onward under some tap urging to try to get close to Bunny Lake into the first turn, and Worldly Beauty will have to go to the top. Sitting 4 mares back, that's Carolina Sunshine into the first turn. Eternal CAMNATION lined up in 5th. Ahead of Cathedra.com, Jessica Joy, and Car Trick Hanover was 8th and last away. Worldly Beauty carried over to the quarter by Bunny Lake in a testy 25 and 4. Worldly Beauty strikes front midway into the first turn. They move to the Woodbine backstretch, and Bunny Lake has tracked out a trip in second after burning Worldly Beauty into the first turn. Midnight Jewel saw that transpire from a tight third. Carolina Sunshine, the track record holder, sits on the inside from 4th, leaving it to Eternal CAMNATION to come first out from 5th for Richard Silverman, and she's put in gear, goes on the attack. Eternal CAMNATION under a big looking acceleration. Then back to Cathedra.com, Jessica Joy, and Card Trick Hanover. 55 and 2 was the half, and trying to march right on past is Eternal CAMNATION. She cleared Worldly Beauty on the way to the final turn, and that leaves Cathedra.com on the outside, and Bunny Lake hemmed to the inside in 4th as they move on to the final turn. Jessica Joy now up into the top 5 mix on the outside at the flank of Midnight Jewel. Carolina Sunshine 7th on the inside. Card Trick Hanover 8th on the outside. It's Eternal CAMNATION 122 and 3, 27 and 1. Third quarter, Eternal CAMNATION by 2 into the final 8th of the mile. Silverman just starts to urge there. Then Worldly Beauty as Willette kicked out the earplugs. Bunny Lake on the outside, but Eternal CAMNATION is back in Canada where she has loved it so throughout her career. She defeated Worldly Beauty. Then it was close for third. Bunny Lake against Midnight Jewel. Eternal CAMNATION 150 and 1. Number 5, Eternal CAMNATION, the 6th race winner at Woodbine of the Roses Are Red Stakes Prep. Camphilla 6-year-old bay mare from Cool World, owned by the Eternal CAMNATION stable of Haviland, Ohio, trained by Jeff Miller and driven to victory by Richard Silverman. Her 2nd in 9 this year. Eternal CAMNATION is back in Canada in 150 and 1.
An unbelievable win price tonight on an unbelievable mare. We congratulate Jeff Miller and company on a job well done here tonight, and you got to thank the big mare too, Eternal CAMNATION. She seems to know when she steps on Canadian soil.
Yeah, she definitely likes the air up here. I don't know. It's just, I think it's home sweet home for her up here.
Richie Silverman did a great job babysitting tonight.
Yeah, Richie did everything that I told him I felt that she needed tonight, and I know he listened to Eric a little bit because Eric had called him on the phone and talked to him, but he did an excellent job with her.
And again, Eric back in the bike next week for the final?
That's the plan right now. I mean, unless Eric has some other plans or it doesn't work out. So.
True sign of a great horse in any category is longevity, and this mare certainly showed it racing at the Mares Open. And if memory serves me correctly, this will be her 3rd Roses Red title if she gets it done.
Yeah, she's. I say this because not only she's mine, but she's just an unbelievable athlete.
And how did she come back this season? I know last year it was a tough grind to get her back to the top level early in the season. It looks like she's come back quicker this year.
Yeah, I think beginning of the year she's been excellent. We kept her close to home. You know, that was on purpose. You know, sometimes, you know, we had to race against the boys, and we just sat in there and took what, you know, was fed to us, and then we had to go to New Jersey, and for some reason she just hasn't made that trip out there. It hasn't been easy on her, you know, and racing's tough out there, and you know, the air and the water and everything, it's just it's a lot different for her, and she just sometimes isn't satisfied out there.
Jeff, 7 days to get ready for her three-peat possibly in the Roses Are Red. Talk about what's going to take place over the next 7 days for the mare.
We'll kind of let it tell her, her tell us. We'll go home tomorrow, back to Ohio. If the weather's decent, she'll get to go outside. And we'll see how she, you know, gets in the feed bucket in the morning, and we'll just let her play her cards, and we'll follow along.
You're not done tonight. You've got a pacer who's kind of special and very close to this mare as well. We'll see him tonight's 2nd Canadian Pacing Derby LM.
Yeah, that's her brother, World Harvest, and we think a lot of him. We call him Junior. Of course, he's never going to fill her shoes, but we think he's an awful nice little colt. Kind of a big step for him, but you know, back home the classes have been so tough to fit into, so you might as well you know, measure up and see how he goes against these type of horses.
Back for the Breeders' Crown, and then is that it for Eternal CAMNATION, or is there still talk of maybe another year?
Breeders' Crown, and we got the Milton Classic Series. You know, last year I wouldn't have been surprised to say we was done for the year, but after performance in the Milton, you know, how could we deny not bringing her back another year? You know, the sport deserves that, and she's definitely good in our pocketbooks, but that's not the, you know, the bottom line. You know, the bottom line is doing what she wants to do, and we try to listen well. So.
The sport applauds you for it. Congratulations on the win here tonight. Good luck in the final next week.
Thanks, Ken.
Jeff Miller, winning trainer of the world's richest pacing mare in the history of the sport, Eternal CAMNATION.